sitting in. Let's begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Just so you know, Chair Bolton is off having a baby, and Commissioner Lee Osborne also has an excused absence. I guess the first thing we do is approve the agenda. That's right here. Does anyone have any agenda? Second. All right, all those in favor? There you go. District updates. Commissioner Morris.
I have a number. A lot of emails were about the crime that all of our emails. And the waste that Officer Brown is still with us, and really would like to have a community liaison for our neighborhoods to direct the residents to. The other thing I did is, one thing I did is I participated in the Ohio Traffic Safety Summit that was held the last month. And learned a lot about different initiatives from the state, the city, as well as nonprofits improving safety on the street. One presentation was from the Cleveland bike group, and they presented a really nice report on traffic crashes across Cleveland, and also indicating what the problem spots were. One of the things they mentioned is that they spent a lot of time talking about getting data on crashes, and turned out that all of the crashes don't show up in official data. So I mentioned earlier that there was a car that drove on the road on North High Street, hit a light, and I checked what the flags not very long, it still doesn't show up on the records. So it's an example of traffic safety, or problem with traffic safety on our high street doesn't show up on the statistics. And then just this week, just 50 meters north, another car went over the side and ran another sign for one of the local businesses. And there's a little inquire to see if that shows up on the statistics. I know that the city is going to do a traffic study later this summer that we would like to be involved or get connected with the people from the traffic study. Because there's lots going on that doesn't show up on the statistics, and it doesn't affect safety of people who are in the also got an email from a resident from the Hollandia neighborhood. So there's some trouble with getting out of the neighborhoods. So the traffic situation is sensitive, it's very difficult to get out. I advise all of them to, I advise people to contact me to submit a request to 311. You get all their neighbors to submit a request to 311 as well. The final thing that I did is I participated in the Right of Silence on May 21st. The right for cyclists. Remember the cyclists that were killed on Ohio Road. It's a global event. There was also an event in Columbus. Attendance was not very large because the weather was not very good. But I think about 100 people showed up, and lots of people from public safety, and we made it quite very nice. We remembered 27 cyclists that were killed on Ohio roads in 2024. We did that by riding through the neighborhood of Clintonville University to get on science.
Thank you.
Drew Miller, District 9. I just wanted to give a thank you to some residents of District 9 who have been planting native pollinator gardens in our shared traffic circle landscape that.
Yeah, so just a couple of resident emails this past month, again, related to farmers market parking, particularly on West Division this time, as well as concern about music playing past 9, 10 o'clock at night from local council.
Josh Hyman, District 8. I had some good scores at the Clintonville garage sale this past weekend, but other than that, nothing to report.
Paul Leonard, District 1. We had another block watch meeting. The next one is in July 7th. Interestingly, we found out that crime in the Clintonville area is actually very low right now. It's gone down last month. So, however, if one is a victim of crime, it doesn't seem like it's low. So it's something to keep in mind. Also, the Indianola repaving that the city is going to do from Hudson up to Oakland Park is out to bid. Construction is expected somewhere in 25 to 26. So that's after it comes hot on the heels of Columbia Gas. But before the blueprint construction in our division. So it's never ending. Thanks, Stacy, for that. That's all we have on districts. We need to approve the past meeting minutes.
So share the top 3 minutes with everyone, and I've been doing a little Easter eggs in the minutes in the last couple months. I didn't get any comments with the Commissioner Bolt. We got to put the Easter eggs.
So we have to have a motion to approve it. Second. All those in favor? It's approved. Okay, now we move on to Treasurer's Report. Commissioner Miller.
Yep, just a couple of things to report. So we do have $699 left from our 2024 budget. We went through the process of attempting to purchase some pop-up tents that could benefit ArtFest or other committees or commission can find a way to use that. But we do have that credit, so when the time's right, we're ready to purchase those. We can do that. As far as 2025 budget, we spent $105.99 on our present card, so we have $2,394.05.
Thank you. Now we move to the update from City of Columbus, representative for the Department of Neighborhoods.
Actually don't have really any updates, other than I do have 2 letters here from the Director of Department of Neighborhoods expressing condolences on the passing of Commissioner Nutter. One was for the commission, and the other one, if you could forward to his family, we would appreciate that. So
Yes.
I'm going to do, and I'm going to speak to your tents. I did receive an email, I think earlier today, or maybe late yesterday. They did provide some tent options that they want to purchase. I'll send it to you and CC Chair Golden so that you guys can approve that. She's already go over that.
Yep.
And then they just said, as many as they could get.
Okay.
I might, maybe not like 10, because I might get questioned on that, but I will do that probably on Monday, because we're out of office for an all-day training tomorrow, so I'll send that to you.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Okay. City Council.
I also have some letters and a black line resolution. So the first one that I have is a resolution from Councilmember Rob Lawrence for Commissioner Fernandez's family. So we just wanted to make sure we were remembering as well, and we wanted to give this along with a personal letter for the family as well. So this is really this legislation, and this is just the personal touch that we wanted to make. And then I also have a certificate from Councilwoman Amanda Howard, who's the chair of the Neighborhoods Department, so she also wanted to give her condolences and just thank you guys for your service. Thank you. A couple updates that I have from the council would be first that this past Monday, council created a city division of housing stability to help tenants hold bad landlords accountable, essentially. This is also coupled with $1 million in emergency rental assistance to prevent evictions. So this is part of the Housing for All legislative package that former Councilman Jim Baker started in 2023. These efforts are just going to be continued by Council President Harlan and Council to make sure we're combating the housing crisis as effectively as we can, keeping that effort going. So that's really exciting news from this past meeting. As far as upcoming things in June, on next week, on Wednesday the 11th, we do have a hearing from the Finance and Governance Committee. This is actually going to be in collaboration, so it's going to be Councilmember Diplo's city chairs and Vice Chair Council President Rob Dorans, and this hearing is going to focus on proposed code changes to prevailing wage requirements in the city. So if you're interested about this, it's going to be at 1 p.m. at Council Chambers this upcoming Wednesday. And if you would like to give a testimony, submit written testimony. If you don't want to be there to give a written testimony, just see me. I'd love to give you my contact info. I think it's also on the agenda as well. But just see me, and I will be happy to pass along that information for Councilman Dorn's aide, who you can submit your testimony to. You can also find information on our social media and our website, columbus.com/council. And I guess the last big update that we both have, I'm going to welcome the lovely Stacy Butler up to the front. Yes. So, for the past, since I've gotten here and since Stacy got here last year, one of the big issues that you guys have come to us about are deer in the area. And you guys, we do our job very well because we wanted to make sure that our bosses knew what was going on and that we could actually figure out what we can do with the deer issue in the neighborhood. So we are actually having a deer survey drop this upcoming Monday, so we can figure out what's going on. Not just here in Clintonville, but throughout the entire city of Columbus. So you guys deserve like a pat on your back because you are doing something that's not just impacting your own neighborhood, but neighborhoods across the city. So almost 1 million people. So yeah, the survey is going to be open until August 22nd. You want to tell me what you want about it as well? Yeah.
It's in partnership with, it's actually really cool. So it's in partnership with an Ohio State student-led project. And they helped us develop the survey. You know, we went back and forth and edits and all that fun stuff. And they were really great. It's part of their capstone project before they graduated. So when the survey is done in August, the next group that needs that capstone project will be analyzing the results. So it's been kind of cool.
Yeah. And the survey itself is basically just going to ask you, you don't have to submit any personal information. It is completely anonymous. But it's going to ask you some questions about interactions you've had with deer. And it's also going to enlighten you about what are some methods about that we could, what are the methods that are proposed to impact the deer population. So please submit responses to the survey, and we also just want to ask the commission and everybody in this room to promote the survey as well, to tell your neighbors to fill it out, and to tell anybody in the city of Columbus to fill it out, because we just want to make sure if legislation will be passed, it would impact the entire city of Columbus and not just one neighborhood, because right now that's just how things work at council. So please, we are really happy that we're able to make this happen for you guys. But first we need to just gather information on the scope of the entire issues.
Can this be posted like on social media sites, various neighborhoods?
Yes.
Is there an electronic version of this?
On Monday.
So watch for the city council page, the department neighborhood page, and just reshare.
It comes on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, go look for that.
Cool.
If you guys want to post it also on your social media, newsletter, and all, we can send the graphic to you guys too. We encourage you guys to spread it as far and wide as possible. So definitely, we'll work on getting that graphic to you guys. And I have a lot of these and I wanted to leave some for you guys to be able to disperse. We're gonna, of course, print more, for the future, because it's gonna be open for another 2 months. So yeah, just wanted to leave a good chunk for you guys to be able to spread out to your neighbors and let them know this is some of the work that you impacted, for council to do. Council and their department. So thank you guys.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Are there any other city representatives here?
Blueprint is a city representative.
For what?
Blueprint?
Oh, you're on the agenda a little bit further.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Should I read this slide? Okay. I think this is the letter for Commissioner Nutter that was presented to the Clintonville Area Council. I think I'll just read it aloud here for the record. Friday, May 2nd, 2025, dear family and friends of Commissioner Greg Nutter. It is with sadness that I write to express my deepest condolences on the passing of Commissioner Greg Nutter. His loss is felt deeply by those who knew him personally and the entire Clintonville community. Greg was a dedicated public servant, and his commitment to strengthening and preserving the character of Clintonville was evident in all that he did. As a commissioner, he recognized the challenges our community faces, including issues related to zoning and preservation of green spaces, traffic safety, affordable housing, bikeways, and homelessness. He approached these challenges with a vision of collaboration, believing that working together, communicating and understanding makes a stronger and safer neighborhood and community. His hope that his involvement in the Clintonville Area Commission would increase awareness and encourage broader community engagement in the process of preserving and improving Clintonville speaks to his selfless dedication. He sought to ensure that the community we all cherish would thrive for generations to come. We at the Department of Neighborhoods share in your sadness and reflection on Greg's life. His passion, his thoughtful approach, and his unwavering commitment to his fellow citizens will be missed. His contributions have left an indelible mark on our community. During this difficult time, please know that our thoughts are with you. We hope that you find comfort in the memories you shared with Greg and the knowledge that his legacy of service and dedication will endure. Sincerely, Kenny Douglas. It's very nice, and I appreciate it for everything to all those from the city. Okay, next on the agenda is the CAC resolution regarding ArborFest 2025. I asked Chair Bolt if I needed to read this again, and she said no. So if there are any last comments? No? And we don't have to individually vote, we can just vote as a group, so who wants to put this up?
Make a motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those not, say the other. All right, so it passes. And we'll get this thing signed, however, wherever we get it. Okay. Next, election report from Chairman Dahl. We have an open seat course and 3 other seats that are in election.
Thank you. So the annual election for Clintonville, it will be on Saturday, August 23rd. Early voting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 19th. And elections will be held for districts 2, 3, 6, and 8. The election for District 2 is technically a special election, but we're absorbing it into the general election cycle process. Candidate petition packets will be available on Monday, June 9th, this upcoming Monday at Western Library front desk. The new CAC webmaster is looking into confirming to me that we'll be able to make this available online again this year. So being new is kind of working through some of that detail. So look for any announcements on online access on the CAC website or Facebook page. And then the election committee has reviewed the election rules as we do every year. Usually we clarify and refine them. So we identified a few opportunities to clarify. I actually have one proposed substantive change I'd like to run through here. So you see it projected on the screen there, and everybody from the commission has on hard copy. So the first proposed change, again, just more of a technical item. After the candidate orientation meeting, candidates are limited to communicating with the election committee in writing or at a public meeting. And when they communicate in writing through an email, the committee will respond to those questions in writing. But here we will make, as we always do, we're going to make the answers available to
candidates, but this just clarifies, will provide the question posed as well as the answer to all candidates. The second proposed change is just adding that when the committee validates petition signatures, we do kind of spot check, 6 to 8 at least for each petition, that we can contact petition signers by text as well as phone and email, because a lot of people don't answer the phones anymore, even email is pretty limited. So text seems to be the way to go, so adding that on. The third item is really a big clarification item around write-in candidates. It adds some more text to clarify that for a write-in candidate, if there are no certified petition candidates, the write-in candidate in their application, they only need to have 15 valid signatures. But if there is one or more certified petition candidates, they need to submit a packet with at least 25 valid signatures to just have level playing field with petition candidates. That's always been the case, but a little confusing, we thought, and opportunity to clarify. Item number 4 is the same. It just rolls in what I just mentioned, clarifying language around the number of the technicalities around the voter signatures. As a reminder, the applicable number of signatures to be attained, and that applicable number is from a prior section they just described. And then the last item is more substantive. You may remember several years ago we made a change that in the scenario where there's one petition candidate certified, instead of holding an election to declare the winner, the commission just declares the winner without an election process. So that's been in place for a while. We've actually utilized that provision to declare several candidates winners. So the idea here is we flag that we don't have a corresponding provision around write-in candidates. We don't even encountered this scenario, but in the event that we have no certified petition candidates for a district, but we have one write-in candidate who is qualified, the idea would be declare that a winner rather than have an election. And one consideration around that is that write-in candidates in the context of our elections, there's a robust process to validate them. They have to go through basically the same process as a petition candidate. As I described, I have to get signatures. It's a little lower if there's no petition candidate, 15. Otherwise, it's 25. So they, just like a petition candidate, they have to go meet some neighbors and get kind of engaged with some neighbors and reflect the interest of the neighbors through this neighbor's signature. And they also have to submit an application. And the application is not notarized, but they have to submit a valid ID. Usually they'll print out their driver's license and they will validate that they are a resident. So there is a significant process that takes basically a line with what a petition candidate goes through. So that was like the background context for potentially adding this provision, just to declare that no winner, there's nobody else presented. The alternative is to have an election. So if there's any comment on that, but it's just something we identified by the community to streamline and refine.
Great, thanks a lot. Are there any questions from the commission? I have one quick question regarding the special election. Is that just for a one-year term?
No, it's looking for a full 3-year term.
So it'll be out of same thing out, and we won't have 3.
Right. It's a good question, and we could, I think that it's important to try to say that. We could put some language, and we could actually put some qualifying language in the packet.
This is an observation of mine, I don't know if it's the commission's feeling on that at all.
Yeah. You get to the commission. The election committee would really decide that. If there's a duty on that alignment, we could reflect that the term would be less than 3 years. To get anybody
I'll make it 4 years.
Is there a provision in your bylaws that share from the businesses?
I'm not sure. I was just curious. If it ends up being, 2, 3, and 4, that's just fine. I think it's more about carrying consistency or having something that institutional knowledge to carry over. Are there any questions from the audience for election committee changes?
I think that it should be for the unexpired term, or it has to be for the unexpired plus for that District 2C. Because otherwise you do get out of sync, and I think it's one of those crazy bylaw things, and I'm not gonna look up the bylaws for this morning.
Okay.
So that's just a point of view.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't know what's better, whatever the bylaws say, you're immediately you have to do it, otherwise, these are the kind of things where you don't want, I think want to mess with whatever, just let the chips fall.
Okay.
If you don't like it, you can amend it.
Makes sense to you. All right,
What do you think of what the actual unexpired term is? Is it about a year and a half?
it's towards a year left, because the person is elected in August and then begins their term in January, this is a year left.
So it's either 1 year, put it in the packet that we're going to publish on Monday, or basically 4 year terms. Unless the bylaws are clear on that. I'm looking, yeah. It's not the election bylaws. It's not the election rules, so.
Because Greg, Drew, and I came in at the same time.
Yeah, it's about a year. Okay, thank you.
Is this something that we vote on? The changes to the bylaw?
Unless it's really public comment and any opposition. It's a vote, my understanding in the past process.
Okay. So we're just gonna kind of move forward there. Sorry, but this is, I'm new in that.
Just a couple of, I don't know, the bylaws, I think it's for 1 year terms, just with the defer.
Oh, it's for 1 year?
I have to read that carefully, but I think it's for 1 year.
Okay.
I'll reflect that in the packet, so everybody's going to know this.
Yeah, it's good, so that the candidate, any potential candidate knows what we're up to.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Back to the agenda. Okay, the Clintonville July 4th celebration is Mr. Wilson here. Come on up.
You want me up in front of the camera?
No, wherever you want to. I think sometimes people stand over there.
All right, we'll do that. Yeah, I'm Cliff Wilshire. Nice to meet you all. Thanks for having us here. This used to be a tradition, I think, with the CAC, of different community groups would present the chamber and CRC. So we're grateful. As you know, we're slowly bringing back the 4th of July celebration down in Whetstone Park. After 2019, the previous leaders of that group had said that they had toted that for 20 years or so, and we're ready, and we're hoping somebody else will step up. Nobody else really had, and the pandemic hit. So thankfully, all that planning didn't go into 2020, because there wouldn't have been a celebration for 2020, 2021. After the year 2022, more and more people had talked about what they missed, and I think the bike parade might have started up on its own. But enough people kind of come forward and said, hey, we want to make some things happen, and we tried to capture some of that old-time Clintonville feel again with the pet parade, community festival, the community breakfast return. The Women's Club stepped up to organize that, which has been a nice return. But there were no fireworks, and it was a heavy lift, and the group that I was involved with, continued to be involved with, just wasn't ready to take that on. But last year, as we were down there at the park, enough people came up and said they really missed the fireworks. And I said, well, if you miss them, it's time to step up and make it happen. So while I'm still part of that board of the whole celebration committee, a newer group of about 8-9 people have stepped up, raising money and organizing things. Myra Holdenbaum's here with me, and maybe she can speak to the fireworks specifically for us. So she's one of the new young guns who stepped forward to make this happen again.
Yeah, so my brother was at I was too, my brother was at the movie festival last year, and came up to Cliff and said, we want fireworks, and so he's probably one of the people who really
Sure.
make it happen. And so, and it's something that my brother and I both grew up in Clintonville, and Indianola, Dominion, Whetstone. We still live in the area, we still live in Clintonville. And in 2019, when the previous committee stepped down, we played with the idea of doing it. Both our spouses were like, no, you can't do that, that's too time consuming. And then the pandemic hit, and then our kids got older and we had more time. So last summer, after we talked to you, we pulled together a committee of, I think, 7 and 8 people who were all interested in bringing the fireworks back. So we started meeting last summer, making a plan to raise money. We've been working since late last summer until now. Fireworks are really expensive. So our main focus has been on raising money, right? The fireworks show alone is about $40,000, and then we also have to, pay for police representation and the fire department to be there, and city permits, and liability insurance is important. So our budget we're looking at around $55,000, $55,000 to $60,000 all in to bring the fireworks back this year. So we have, less than a month to finish our fundraising process. So we've done a lot of things. We thought we were going to get some really big donations from local corporations. That was not the case. So it's really been at grassroots. We've had a lot of support from local Clintonville businesses. I mean, really, like, so much support from local Clintonville businesses. I think Wyland's is our biggest donor at this point, but I mean, 20, 30, we have like so many businesses who have supported the cause, and then just local residents as well. We also got a grant from the city of Columbus. They do not fund the fireworks, but they did fund them a little bit through a grant process. So how much money do we have right now?
Yeah, right about 40,000, and we feel like we're on track. There's a few other community events coming along. We have some pledged money that hasn't hit the bank yet.
Yep.
We're on track to do, I think, a small firework display, and the more that comes in, the bigger it'll be. And part of it is generating attention and building for next year as well. Next year is 2026. It's the 250th semi-sesquicentennial of the nation. And so we're hoping we're going to be building up this groundswell moving forward.
We're starting slow, so it's not going to be quite like it was previously. We really just want to get the fireworks off the ground, and then hopefully in years to come, there'll be music leading up to the fireworks and other activities. I mean, there's still the daytime activities, that's still going to happen, but no like big stage setup or anything like that. People will be able to come put their blanket down and claim a spot, and then come back around dusk. There will be some food trucks there if people want to make a dinner out of it. We have a couple of events coming up, so I'll go ahead and plug those. We have a local cantina has a drink that they are going to be selling for all of June. It's really cute. It's red, white, and blue, with a little bomb pop in it. And $1 of all of those drinks go to us. Wits is doing a special, so every Wednesday they share the proceeds with us, and we've been getting around $150 a week from that. We had Aladdin's was yesterday. What's coming up next?
Mozart's the big one coming up. He's doing a happy hour
On the
on
19th? On the 12th, okay. So Mozart's is hosting a happy hour. We have a silent auction. $20 to get in. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres and a silent auction going on. All of that will come to the firework committee as well. So please attend. It will just be fun. There's going to be drinks and cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and silent auction, and hopefully a lot of Clintonville residents will come out to support the cause. What else do we have planned? And running Jenny's is on the 19th, so we're doing something similar with Jenny's where they will share the proceeds with us from that, and then possibly something with Eldorado, which we're not sure about that yet, right?
Yeah, it's coming up.
But we just don't have a for sure date. So I guess what we mostly need from you is just to spread the word. support the cause, and then hopefully come down and enjoy fireworks on the 4th, but really spread the word, urge your neighbors and friends to donate. There's, we have flyers we'll pass out, there's a QR code, you can donate through our Squarespace. We'll be at the farmer's market on Saturday, getting excitement, asking for more donations, so. And if anyone wants to be involved, we are a small but mighty committee, so we're hoping to grow year over year, so if you're ever interested in being a part of, you know, bringing back this tradition.
Yeah, that's been the neatest thing. Clintonville doesn't have as many of these community building activities. Arbor Fest stepped up in a big way last year. But, you know, once the kids get out of NCIL and go their separate ways, we don't have many major events that we used to. So people are going to get caught up on the fireworks, and there's some social media debate already, obviously. But it's really about community, bringing them together during the daytime and get together with your neighbors in the evening. So do you have any questions for us on the commission?
I have a question. You mentioned some businesses that are contributing. Are there those sponsorships or donations?
Yes, there's sponsorships from like $250 up to $5,000.
Okay, and then what was that sponsorship look like?
There's different levels, and there'll be, you know.
As far as like advertising for business.
Exactly, yeah. So you'll get signage and in the newspaper. I know guys charging the paper, so we'll get some advertising in there.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of social media blasts for our sponsors. We have newspaper ads. Of course, there's going to be, depending on the level of signage on the day of, and then also the placemats. One really cool thing that we're doing this year that we have not done in the past is if you reach a certain sponsorship level, whether it be either a private donation or a business donation, you get a VIP spot. So we have a little area where we're going to have VIP tables right in the parking lot by the casting pond. We kind of got that place squared away. So some of our bigger donors, even if it's $500, you get a seat or two at those tables, and it goes up from there. So some cool marketing opportunities, and then just great community building. I remember going there as a kid, literally every single year. I won the pet parade, not to brag, but
every single week.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. And I want to be able to take my kids, they let me before the pandemic, and then we're going to like Burlington, or last year I was so depressed about it that we just went out of town, because I was like, I don't want to be here. So we're a great community. We should have these community celebrations, and so we feel strongly about it. Yes, it's fireworks, it seems kind of silly, but it's just another reason for all of us to come together and celebrate our wonderful community.
And Clintonville's got a long history of being the only neighborhood in the city of Columbus that has fireworks on the 4th of July. The city's always been all in on the midnight boom, and then left the 4th of July to the suburbs. Well, Clintonville stepped up decades ago and said, no, we want it on the 4th of July. So we're excited to bring that back this year.
And like the city of Worthington pays for their fireworks, the city of Westboro pays for their fireworks. So the city is not going to pay for these. They did donate, which is wonderful. They didn't donate, which is wonderful. But we should have something to celebrate Rainbow too. So here we go.
Great. Are there any questions from the audience? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I'm new to the commission, and when I was collecting some pictures, quite a few people talking about how excited they would be fireworks to come back, and they actually encourage me to perform me. So I'm thrilled that you've been taking this on, and kudos to you both for making this almost a reality. It's like, how can people get involved in dealing with the community for the district community?
I can give you my email address. Yeah, we are meeting. I think after the 4th, we'll have a postmortem, and then they'll probably just start meeting again. We've been meeting on a monthly basis, hopefully being now that we're getting closer to the event, but meeting on a monthly basis, we started last summer just to kind of start brainstorming fundraising. Okay, so I'll give you my email address, and then we can be part of our next year.
And there is a channel also that we're going to, but Clintonville, FOURTH@gmail.com. That's easy to remember.
And one more question. Oh, do you have a way of like, do you have a QR code or something that you can share with members or something?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, we have flyers, we actually are, do that, right? Because we have an email now.
We've got that plan out.
Okay.
And no, at Clintonville, 4th, for the number 4TH. Also that event.
Yes. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh, we've canvassed the neighborhood, so hopefully some of you have received flyers in your mailboxes already. But if not, we have the Venmo, we have a Square site, and the
Facebook page.
Facebook page, Instagram page. You can find us and watch just like labeling. Please support our community.
Any questions from the audience?
Question. Yeah, having served on that board for 10 years and lived in that park for 3 days every July, and having people say to me, oh, I can't volunteer, it's a holiday, and I'm going, hello? It's a holiday for you too, but I really commend you. I was probably your age when I first started volunteering, and look what it's done for me.
Well, we'll be down there all day, and I'm gonna put my kids to work, so they'll be down there all day too, and we'll make a whole day of it. Be busy but fun.
Thanks for coming
Okay,
in.
thanks for having
You
us.
mentioned the 250th, though, makes me too old, because I'm not fun license taking.
Right, I know. It's gonna be a big blowout next year.
Okay, next is an update from Blueprint, the Clintonville 3 Blueprint project update.
Right, so I'm actually subbing in for Naomi today. So my name is Leslie Westerfeld, and we are here to talk about Clintonville 3. I printed out a couple maps just in case we needed the kind of reference again, but this is really our southern portion of Clintonville. For those of you in the audience, if you go to columbus.gov/blueprint and click on the interactive map, you can really kind of zoom in and really take a look at where your area lands in all of this as well. The last time that we were talking about Clintonville 3 in kind of a very public way was actually March of 2022. I had to go back and look at the dates. And so part of the reason why it's taken us so long to kind of get to this next design iteration is because we needed to do a little bit more assessment on the storm sewer capacity, and then also we have been looking at the Wahal Ravine stream restoration and how that you know, can kind of pull things up. There's our website. If you click on that, oh, thank you, that's a genius idea. So the Clintonville 3 area, our southern border is Olentangy, excuse me, and then we go up to Fallis just a little bit. So the districts that this really impacts are 1, 2, 3, and 4, just a sliver of District 5 in there. So we have kind of come to the next stage of our design. So back in 2022, we were talking about all of the different potential locations that we were looking at for green infrastructure and the different sewer improvements that would be needed for that. Now we have kind of refined that based on additional surveying and analysis, as well as a lot of community feedback that we received during that preliminary design conversation that we had. So we are we now have our 60% plans, we're wrapping those up, and so we are going to be having a meeting on June 26th. It's going to be at the North Broadway United Methodist Church, and that'll be at 6 p.m. We will have some food starting at 5:30. If you live in these 5 areas that you're kind of seeing here on the map, you're going to get this invitation mailed to you directly. We will also post this on social so that you can share this. We can also share a graphic directly with you. And I'll leave these over here on the table as well. But like I said, you'll be getting a postcard with that. The other thing that I want to note is our team with the engineers, so the outreach team with the design engineers, is going to be out in the field next week. We'll be out Tuesday and Wednesday. And what we're doing is we're going out there, we are spray painting all of the locations that, again, are currently our preferred process are our preferred locations for green infrastructure. So we will be spray painting the boundaries of those so that everybody can see where they are, how big currently we are expecting them to, and then we'll also be knocking on doors of the adjacent homes, sharing that information, making sure that everybody is fully informed. I do just want to remind all of us that this preferred design milestone, we are at about 60% of our plan design, so we are still seeking input at this stage. Okay. A couple other things to kind of note at that public meeting. We will talk about the Walhalla Ravine restoration a little bit more, but as a preview here, we are going to be doing invasive species removals this fall, and then we will expect construction to start probably early 2026. Construction for kind of the whole project area is still a ways away, probably, what are we thinking, on late 2026, early 27? For Clintonville 3 GI?
Summer 2026.
Okay. So we still have a year, which again, I cannot stress this enough. We are still taking comments. We are still taking feedback, as we continue to refine this plan. So you can look for us next week. We will be spray painting the boundaries. We will be putting signs in the yard. We will be knocking on the door. So if you see our team out there wearing our blueprint lanyards and our t-shirts, give us a little wave. June 26th, those of you who can join us, we will record this, and it is going to be on CTV, and we'll get that uploaded on YouTube as well, so that you still have that information. And as usual, here on our website, but then also our email address is real easy. It's blueprint@columbus.gov. If you have any questions, you want to get into some more detail with the engineers about something that's happening around your home, we are happy to do that.
Great. I have several questions. I live in South Clintonville, south of Weber. My understanding is that the Esmond Road there is, which is this right here, is going to be a permeable paver street.
So we are not doing the permeable pavers anymore. And we're not doing permeable pavers in any of the sections in Clintonville, or in the Clintonville 3 part. So I know that was part of the earlier preliminary 30% design, but after more analysis, we decided we don't need that. Pavers are very expensive, and so we try to use them very strategically. So.
Okay, and then will it just be mainly rain gardens?
Yes.
And we've already had the sump pump opportunities in our neighborhood through this.
And we are still installing sump pumps.
Yes. But are you going to take care of downspouts as well throughout the neighborhood?
So the downspouts, we will be looking at downspouts, but we don't do those on every single house. Every house, though, obviously there could be some exceptions here or there, from extenuating circumstances, but the lateral lining is definitely going to be happening for all of the homes, and that's your greatest value, right?
Lateral lining is?
So that is where basically we're taking your pipe that carries the sewage away from your house. It's probably made out of clay because this neighborhood is very old, and so what we're doing is we are injecting a resin in there that will kind of create a new pipe within a pipe. So it makes your clay pipe really strong, should last for 50 to 100 years, 50 if you're an engineer, 100 for everybody else. And it will also prevent roof intrusion, so if you are a frequent caller of road over this will probably work.
Oh, so every house gets that? Wow. Okay.
Again, there are some occasional extenuating circumstances if you have a giant tree that is really kind of collapsed that, we'll have to talk about other things, but yes,
sure. And then the most of the physical stuff that people will see will be rain gardens?
Yes.
The bump outs into the street?
I don't know specifically like bump outs or where those are at. We will have that information at the meeting. Bump outs are kind of the last tool that we want to use in the toolbox, and what we found, especially in this Clintonville 3 area, it's denser here, so there's more cars on the street, and so that is, we also do a parking study, but bump outs in this area, I know we're kind of causing us a challenge, but at the meeting, and then hopefully next week, actually, on this map, we will have the locations loaded up there as well. So we just submitted that information to the GIS team. So next week, when you see us out there and doing everything, you should be able to see the locations on the website. And they will tell you if it's going to be a bump out versus a regular rain garden.
So I think I saw some in Linden somewhere, or is like in the tree lawn itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could be in the tree lawn, that, is usually kind of our first, option. I also can, so the ones where you see kind of the red, red just means no parking. So those aren't actually bump outs, those are technically in the tree lawn, I know it doesn't look like it from the
Yeah,
shape
it's a side
files,
street,
but, yeah. And then on those streets, we had to build a sidewalk too, so that's why it's getting a little bit off.
Maybe Aspen can get a sidewalk. Maybe Aspen can get a sidewalk.
Depends on what we're doing, but yes, maybe. So we will have those locations loaded up so that you can really kind of zero in. But then also as you're walking around, if it's a bump out, we will be spray painting it out into the street.
Commissioners, any other questions?
I have a question. For neighbors who live outside of these areas, the blueprint project, or interested in putting in hang gardens, do you provide any resources or like standard designs that they can use?
So we personally don't, and our rain gardens, because they're directly connected to our storm sewer, they're a little bit different than the rain garden that you would build. However, the perfect resource for that is Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District. They have grant programs that can help even individuals get money, for the plants. They have people that can come out and kind of spec your property and tell you, oh, you should put it here. They have a master rain gardener training program that you can do. So if you're interested in doing it as an individual, I always tell people, they will take care of you.
So just to elaborate on my question, then, I do have people in my neighborhood who have like flooding issues in the right of way where it connects to a storm drain, and a storm drain is too high elevation that water didn't get there.
Okay.
And so they're interested in building or doing something to, create an environment where it's not just mosquito breeding.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in that situation, if it's in the right of way, our surveyors might have caught, or this is outside of this project boundaries, you're saying, I see. So if it's in the right of way, and it's pretty significant flooding, I do recommend that you document that and submit pictures or videos to 311. But then also, Franklin Soil and Water, if it's kind of this collective effort, that is still something that they can help with, but I would want to make sure that we were aware of that, just especially when you're talking about the storm sewer being too high, that's kind of like probably a feeding thing that, we need to look at. So please make sure that that's documented, and 311 is your best bet for that.
Any other commissioner questions? Any questions or comments from the audience?
Yeah, I've got one. My name is Brent Thomas. What these, you're talking about the resin coating inside of the sewer lines, and are those lines cleaned out before the resin shot in there?
Yes, it is.
And what type of restriction does that resin create inside those lines?
So it won't, I oversimplified the process a little bit. So what we do is we kind of take like a sock, and it's coated with the resin. You shoot it into that pipe, and then you're using air to kind of blow it up, make sure it adheres to the pipe, and then cure. And then you pull the sock out. So there should be no obstructions, and really it's very thin, so it's not making your pipe smaller. I think by like a couple centimeters.
4 to 5 millimeter thickness.
Oh, 4 to 5 millimeters. Even better. Yep. Sir, you got any questions?
Just gonna put some more Franklin Soil and Water stuff. Community backyards is going on right now. That's probably one of the most accessible programs to everybody. You can take a course and get $50 in native plants that are with whistlers or ring barrel or compost. And there's another program that they need more people to subscribe to called the Tree Assistance Project, which is for private properties. You can get up to $2,000 to plant trees in private property to do that. I don't know if that's open right now, but last year they had a little trouble getting people to subscribe. But Franklin Soil and Water.
If you go to Open Heart Nursery also, they have their plants labeled as Ohio natives to make it really easy if you're just looking to kind of zero in on that.
Great. Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming in and giving us an update. Okay, next. The zoning hearings and you would share the part.
We have something, I don't know current commissioners were under the last time we heard of it, 2016, 2017. We came for a different variance. This is 26 Henderson Road, goes right next to the, previously it was approved to have, used to be a single family residence, that we got permission to put an office in the front. That had other limitations on it, and now they want to turn that front to an apartment. They listed the 4 variances. They do have 4 parking spaces between both of the residences. They were parking, the variances are maneuvering, the parking setback line, have 2 residents, 2 dwellings in the single family lot, and the minimum side yard. They're not changing the footprint of the building, they're just rearranging what it's used for. And they're actually doing some improvements on the outside, which is here can explain. I sent out prior notices, and didn't hear a single thing back from anyone. It seems like the city wants more housing, they have the parking for their housing, and they want to use what used to be a residence now for 2 residences. We get to see how this adversely affect any of the neighbors, and then we'll unanimous recommendation for approval. I think that's the end of the report. Thank you.
Great.
Chair.
Just for fun, I found this. Mid-70s. And I'm looking at that tree right there, and then I'm also looking at where it is again.
Yeah.
And this project is not going to damage that tree, is it? It is such a beautiful, such an icon. So. Are there any questions from the commission? Any questions from the audience? I think we'll just.
Wait, sorry, can you go back to the page with the 4 variances?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm taking notes, so I just wanted to see page 4.
Okay, how do we do this? Someone has a motion to vote on this?
I'll make a motion to approve, variance. Do you want to hear from
So we want to hear from the architect?
So my client lives in the building in the back. It's her personal residence. And for years, the front building has been her publishing company. But, there's very little on-site parking here. Doesn't really feel like another commercial tenant. It makes sense. I mean, basically, there's 2 parking spaces. You can't park on Henderson. She has a friend who's going to move into the front space, into the apartment. She just thinks it's a better fit for the building. The other thing you mentioned that we're going to be doing is, at some point, some plate glass was put in on the front that doesn't reflect the transoms above. It's just kind of spaced these off. And I did include, I think, a picture somewhere in the packet of what we're doing there. We're going to basically be, you can see clearly those aren't what's supposed to be there. So we're going to clean up that front facade and have the windows kind of match the transoms above, as well as part of this improvement. So she's going to be owner occupied and then renting front space.
Great, thank you. So maybe we'll make
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Great. And all those in favor, or do we have to go individually? Okay. Commissioner Morris? Yes. Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
And I'll be yes as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm also want to note that in 1977, traffic was already backed up.
Where did you find that?
Some old retro Columbus clothes that, Facebook page. Okay. Next one is updates from Columbia Gas.
Hello, everyone. I know everyone will be tired of seeing me, but I do have good news, right? And the good news is we are all I got it card today.
Oh,
I got your email.
That's clear.
I was literally at the coffee shop. So when I saw you tonight, I was like, Lord, here's again to my behind.
It's a teacher on summer break. We got
You guys have
time now.
Obviously, I know the community very well. I've heard every complaint that I get. I need you to understand that I am taking it back to our project team. But the beauty is we are almost at the end. I know I've been saying this for a year now, but this is truly all the pipe is in the ground. We're doing that tie-in work. We are currently doing restoration in Linden. The City of Columbus Public Service is on us. So everything that we do, they're watching us. Everything that we do, you guys are watching us and you're holding us accountable. We have opportunities to do better. As we grow, we continue to get better. But I won't say trust the process, but put faith in me that I am taking all of the feedback back to our project team. And it is our obligation and requirement to put everything that we damage back to a better way. I think it's terminology right now, but we'll make it better. In the email, I do want to call out, I truly apologize. There was some miscommunication and misunderstanding about the times of our meetings. That PDF was solely to just let you know what our restoration process is for hard and soft surfaces, and then our claims process. So it was not to bring people into this space yesterday for a meeting that did not exist. Those meetings were from 2024. So I apologize to anyone that did come out here to speak with our team. It was just for the restoration aspect. So yeah, I know you're tired. I know you don't believe much of what I said, but all I can do is continue to go back and continue to do the work and make sure that our project team, our execution team is doing what they need to do. I know access is an issue, but every complaint that I get, I try to fix it right away. Some things don't happen, so signage is still an issue. I bring it up every week and I'll continue to bring it up until we get it right. And that's what I have for you today. I know that I got two people right here in the back row that have specific questions. So we'll start with commissioners and then we'll go to the audience.
Thanks, Leah. So Tulane, you know, has been closed for what, almost 2 months now? And there's been no work there whatsoever for the past 3 weeks. Today, the first time a crew showed up. I'm not quite sure the whole testing procedure. And I'm glad you're testing the pipeline before, pumping in full of gas. So that's definitely true. But when is that going to open?
So this is my understanding. If it is closed, it is because of safety and what the work that needs to take place. I can't tell you the technical things for all those call outs. Is if the roads are closed, it's because it has to be closed based on whatever's happening is a safety hazard and they have to have it closed. So although it appears that there is no active work, it cannot be open based on what work is going to take place.
Yeah, it's that Allen and Weber and then on West Tulane as well. There's enclosures there.
Yes, and I don't quote me, but I believe certain areas are exactly where the tie-in is. So it's going to be a lot of either closures or equipment in the right of way. And I know one area in particular was near 40 West Tulane.
Yeah.
That is one of those active tie-in areas. I can't call out the other ones, but that has been a process.
Is that where the old Weber Road line comes down? Is that where the old Weber Road line that you're replacing, is that where that connection is made?
I want to say yes, but I'm not in construction.
Tulane kind of curves and then, anyway.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for the updates. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Any questions from the audience?
For context, Brian and I live on opposite sides of Indianola, where there's ongoing mess.
So the restriction to my house, my driveway's been blocked for over 2 months. I'm a small company owner. I do lots of hardscapes, landscaping, construction, water management. I operate out of my house. I'm a small company. So since December, I'm always wondering, like, I ask the guys, like, how long is this going to take? And it's like, you can ask 20 different people and you're going to get 20 different answers. And that's the way it's been going. So the other day I walked outside, there was a group of guys there for the first time in weeks. And so I'm talking to them like, guys, when can I use my driveway? Like, I need to use my driveway. This is not only like inhibiting my life personally, but now, like, I've sat down and looked at the hours of walking my tools for blocks because I can't park anywhere near my house. You look at those hours and it's thousands of dollars I'm burning every single day. And I get so frustrated, so I ask the guys and they're like, well, look, it's gonna, within the next 2 weeks, we should have all this wrapped up. And I was like, well, the last guy told me that 2 months ago, So I worked at my house the other day, and I'm sorry, this is emotional because it affects my entire life. The only thing I've received so far from Columbia Gas is a higher gas bill. Our gas went up $65 a month, and we're on the budget plan. So the other day I'm working at my house, and there's this guy that is in an excavator sleeping for 5 hours straight. 5 hours with the air conditioning on. And it's like, if I make the list of like from small to big, the list is long. From filling up my garbage cans, from blocking the driveway. The one day when the road was open, and I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but like he put the bucket directly like in my driveway, like set it in my driveway to be like, no, nobody's coming through. You can't get in the driveway. And it was the first time he ever parked the excavator like that. It's never been parked that way before. Guys sleeping in concrete trucks, guys sleeping in the triaxle trucks. I had a guy, the list of OSHA violations is above and beyond. It blows my mind. You got guys laying down, upside down, looking on top of the metal plates without any hard hats on. They're just laying down there like, having conversations with another guy down there, welding or grinding the pipes. And it's like the level of unprofessionalism that I've witnessed from a major company like Columbia Gas. If I had another option to keep my house, and maybe I do if the city would allow me to do a boiler system and put in a controlled wood burner, I'm going to jump on board. I'll spend the $30,000 and never deal with Columbia Gas again. But I don't think the city would let me do that. And it's this relationship to where my only recourse is to go to the city and they're going to say, Columbia Gas is doing the best they can. And then I go to Columbia Gas and they're like, we're going to give you cleaner gas. We're giving you cleaner gas. My only thing that I can do is like babysit and watch these individuals, and every time there's an OSHA violation, make an anonymous call. And that's like, I'm trying to pay my bills and maybe line up some retirement owning this small business. And it's like, it is frustrating. My dog is going blind, hurt her leg, can't walk. We can't go to the south end of my property. My wife has crazy anxiety, and slamming the metal plates on a regular basis is like a jolt to her system. We have new cracks in our plaster all throughout the house, and we've had candles fall off shelves because of the vibration. So it's like, I don't know what type of damage it's doing to the foundations because no studies have been done. But it's like all of these things, the list goes on and on from small to big. It's like, and I don't, you know, I'm not the type of person to like break the law and like retaliate. And, you know, Tony said to me,
Tony's like at the top of the poll.
Public relations guy.
No, he's a construction guy.
Okay, well, he said that he was.
He called me.
Okay. Well, he told me, he was like, look, I'm really sorry. And I was like, sorry's good. But it's not anything, that's not doing anything for me. Like, you can apologize all you want. It's not even close to being done. Like, I gotta continue doing and putting up with the things that I've put up with, you know, since the winter.
It's been almost a year. Yeah, it's almost a year.
I mean, you look at the profit, and Tony even said, well, Columbia Gas isn't going to make much more money off this. And it's like, it's $1 billion project over the next 10 years. There's no way a company invests this type of project without, you know, bringing in tenfold. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So it's like, even the information you get from random people, it's like, who really knows what the facts are? I mean, just looking up some of the gross income of like Columbia Gas, like without doing a whole bunch of studying and digging up and following the paper trail, like they make hundreds of millions of dollars. The process of ripping that gas from the earth is not what it was for the initial cost. So like their overhead is much lower. It's like, I feel like I'm being forced into a corner and I want to bite something.
I'm so sorry you've had to go through all this. You're born the brunt of it.
Some of the people at like Summit and Crestview,
Yeah.
like, I can't even imagine like what the benefits of experience there. Because their experience started a year ago with like the boring. And that was like a whole other, and there's still ones in front of their house. They couldn't get out of their house. Like, I mean, I guess like I would say that I have smaller complaints, but I think maybe that's like kind of the point. Like, what I emailed Leah today about was just the trash left behind. They wrapped trees with like plastic wrap, one layer after another. Every time there's a new sign, they just slap a new month on there. They put new dates on, they slap a new sign on, and they put another layer of plastic wrap. It's not good for the trees. And today, there were road closed signs there. Like, so on his side of Indianola, it's actually closed. On my side of Indianola, it has not been closed for a month and a half, but the signs have been sitting there. To the point where people don't park there. So it still causes the musical chairs of parking, because people think they can't park there. And I finally just started telling my neighbors, like, just park there. Like, we started parking there, just park there. Whatever, they're not. It's all covered in concrete, there are steel plates. Nothing has happened there for like literally a month and a half. And so finally, today, they came to pick up the signs. Because I'm a teacher on summer break, I was there to greet them. And I said, finally, by the way, you need to go down the street and cut off all of the signs off of the trees and the poles. They did not. There's a glove that I've stepped over for 6 months. It's not mine. I don't clean up my kids' crap. I would step over my kids' crap. I'm not picking up theirs. Like, there's a plastic bag that's been there for as long. It's not my job to pick up after their crew. And they walk over it just as much as I do. They can pick it up. And it's like, my point is like, those are the little things. It's like, this is a very big project. The least they could do is the tiny things. The least they could do was walk. I went out there one day and called them out for dropping the clementine peel on the street. I I went out there for some other reason, but I walked up to them and said, "Hey, first of all, we don't do that here." That's what I would say to my child. Like, that's not okay. And it's one thing after another, and then when those little tiny things are dismissed, of course the big stuff is gonna be, like, it doesn't, everything feels so disingenuous. Everything feels so, like, just a big F word. Because, and I mean, Blueprint people, if you're still here, like, I would volunteer Tulane, just pave, like, permeable paver all of Tulane. It's like, and Sunville, Columbia Gas, it's the least they could do. Like, this is nonsense. It really is. It's been over a year. They're going to make millions from it. This is a drop in the bucket. And I guess that's like my big statement, I guess, would be that it's just, this is little. It really is. This is little to them. They can fix the road. And I don't have any, I know I'm going to look you in the face and say I don't have any confidence in what, I understand you're the spokesperson. I understand the role of your job. It's not your job to come out and fix the curbs. You say what you have to say, but I don't have any confidence in it's going to happen.
Do you have a schedule yet for restoration?
Not for Clintonville, I only have it for Linden. And as soon
we
as we
start
get
that
those,
schedule?
In the next couple of weeks.
Because you're gonna put parking restrictions down, you have to build the curves and have room again, so.
So the third party contractor that was doing the work is Dexter. So as soon as we receive those schedules, we provide it to the City of Columbus, the Department of Public Service, so that way they know exactly what we're doing.
I have a question. So the crews that are out there mainly right now, is it Miller Pipeline or?
No, it's Northern Pipeline. It's NPO.
So who from Columbia Gas is responsible for basically their operations day to day?
Yeah, who's holding them accountable?
So that would actually be Tony Cadwell, who was out there today that spoke with it.
Does Tony have a schedule of that he can provide to us and the neighbors when those crews are done?
When they're done?
Yeah.
We don't have like a day by day. I know that that's been something that's been asked from the beginning, but we cannot provide that because the work changes based on discovery. So I try to give a generalized time frame, but what I've learned is those time frames shift on a daily or weekly cadence.
Are we talking like weeks or months?
Well,
Years?
Not years. It varies. And the work began on Crestwood in November of 24. But the work began the work altogether began in Northland in May of 24.
Do we have Tony's contact information if we have specific questions about that work?
You can just provide it to me and then I'll relay that information.
Any other comments from the public regarding the company guys?
I would like just to add that I feel really sorry for you guys, what you're having to deal with and go through. It's really difficult for everybody, including you. And yeah, I don't know who can ultimately hold, the people who are out there working responsible other than Columbia Gas. And it sounds like we need to hear more from Tony about what is being done.
I think it's not just Columbia Gas though, it's also the city. Like, they've already started putting up their porta potties and setting things up on Waterman Farms. They're over at UA, just west of Plain Road. They're over on Ridgeview, and they've already started. And I can guarantee you that the city of Upper Arlington is going to hold them more accountable than our city will. I guarantee it.
It'll be a whole different process.
I would like to just say, first of all, we did not elect to do this project. It is federally required. So it's not something that we.
And I defended this project in that context.
It's not something that we just wanted to do, we had to do. But to follow up, I can promise you, City of Upper Arlington mimics the City of Columbus when it comes to requirements. So if it is being required in City of Columbus, it is probably being required in the City of Upper Arlington. So the same issues that you guys are having, I think those same complaints filter to me as well.
but they don't have 100-year-old neighborhoods in that part of North Everton.
That's
So their standard of restoration is very different from ours. Like what we lost is 100 years old. And what's being ripped up and what's being replaced in Arlington is 60 years old. Like it's different.
But the call out for, again, and you know this very well, is I fought for sandstone. But that is, Clintonville is not considered a historic district. And the city of Columbus has ordinances of what we have to do in that situation. So it is not up to us to put sandstone back. We would have to put concrete, which is not ideal.
No, and I talked to people in the city, and I told them they need to change their standards. But also, like, even just if whatever you're going to do, I think, like, for example, there's a pink line that has been spray painted down the center of our street several times now. It keeps flaring off. And the idea that we've only damaged what's on the south side of that is absurd. Because I could take a picture and show you the deep ridges that your equipment has caused on the other half of the road. Like, you know, and then like, for example, like all of these, I'm probably the reason for your inbox overflowing with photos from people that I told that you need to email Leah with pictures of the damage, but like, I didn't personally get any confirmation like that my curb is not painted. It's destroyed, but it's not painted as if it's going to be replaced. And I don't
use that as a marker of whether or not.
Sure, no, I get it, but like, and this is what I said to the city, is like, if you're not going to come up with some grand master list and show us what you're going to be accountable for fixing, who is? Like, I can do it if you want me to. Like, I can make a spreadsheet, one address at a time, and go door to door and ask people, hey, what have you experienced? Can you fill this out for me? Like, I'll do it if you want me to, but like, this is why I don't have a confidence in the process. I don't have, I personally didn't even get a reply that says like, hey, thanks for sending me these photos, I've added you to my list. Like,
the confidence level of everything that has gone on through this process.
And that's
I watched the guy spread grass seed in January over top of equipment, stuff lying in the yard, like, and it was then when I realized, like, this putting back together process is going to be a complete disaster. Like, all through the process, it's been a complete wreck. From start to not even finish has been a complete wreck. And like, I think that you're a great person, but I don't feel like you have any type of control of what Columbia Gas is going to do and not do.
Yeah. And that's what I got. Like, if you can't pick up your trash, why would I have any confidence in that? Fix the curb.
Yeah, the tree lawns are all compacted, not only from your work, but from people now parking there, because there's no curb to keep cars in. So people just kind of park wherever. So there's a lot of compaction going on. I know that the city forester went through and gave you direction on what you need to do.
And the landscape company is coming out. Everything that you guys are saying is valid. Everything that you're saying is true. I'm not here to say that it's not, but I'm taking everything back, and we will be held accountable by the city of Columbus. I get calls every day from some department from the city of Columbus about this project and about the community of Clinton. I know it doesn't look like it because we're in the middle of the work. I understand crews do a lot of things, and I will continue to take it back to Tony. I'll continue to take it back to our construction team to be better, to hold themselves accountable, but also from our project team, we need to have a better eye on what's happening in this community. So all of the things that you're saying are true, and I will get with you on a one-on-one basis on how to make things better. I can't make promises, but everything that you told to Tony, we've taken back to the project. All of the trash, all the porta potties, all the signage, it will be addressed.
Okay, thanks for that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
time on our agenda if there's any general public comment. If not, we will adjourn early. I want to remind everyone that our next meeting is on July 10th.
You need to vote on that.
What?
I think you need to formally vote on that date change.
Oh, we do?
And then I'll put it in the city bulletin.
Oh, okay. We need to vote on the date change of the meeting because we're moving it from July 3rd to July 10th to avoid the holiday. Do we have a motion to change the date? Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll dinner that in on Monday.